Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you might be standing on the edge of an extremely important life-changing decision. Maybe you're thinking about leaving an abusive relationship. Maybe you've already tried, and maybe you've been quietly planning this for weeks, months, maybe even years. I want you to know that whatever the case may be, you are not alone. You're not crazy. What you're going through is one of the hardest, bravest things that a human being can face. If you're new here, my name is Beany, and I am a lived experience trauma informed coach that helps women to regain themselves and their power after abusive relationships. And for those of you who are already a subscriber, thank you and welcome back. So, I recently have been inundated with women contacting me about their situation. Some are just beginning to talk about leaving, some are planning on leaving, and some have already left. But no matter what your situation is, the fear of the unknown is what might be holding you back. So, today I want to walk you through what every survivor needs to know before they leave. If you know me at all, you know that you're not going to get some BS candy coated lecture here. I'm going to do my best to keep everything 100% real for you because I understand that this is not just about ticking off to dos on a checklist and packing a bag and finding a safe place. It's about preparing emotionally, psychologically, and strategically. It's about understanding all the BS that is likely to follow your exit. And that is where so many women end up getting a little kind of blindsided by not just the drama that ensues, but the emotional roller coaster that you end up being on as well. But before I dive in, I want to kind of qualify some of the people that I might be speaking to in this video. Not everyone who is in a toxic, narcissistic relationship is in a physically abusive, dangerous situation. But that doesn't mean that you're not being abused, right? If you feel like your safety is in danger, then this video may be what you need. But if some of what I'm talking about feels more extreme than what you're actually dealing with, just know that I will be talking about all of the extremes here and that you can kind of weed out what doesn't speak to you and hold on to what does. Okay, let's get into it. Now, the logistics of leaving, right? So, before anything else, let's talk about the practical steps because while your heart might be screaming to leave, the how can feel extremely overwhelming. And if you've been isolated, well, then that makes things all that much harder, right? So, this part is about protecting your safety and your future. And it starts with really small strategic steps that can make a world of difference. The first thing, have a safe exit plan. Leaving an abuser is extremely dangerous, right? And it's very likely that the abuse is going to escalate when their control is threatened. So, if at all possible, having a plan in place is not paranoid, it's smart, right? Making sure you have a safe place to go, maybe a friend, a shelter, a hotel, whatever, a specific time that you plan on leaving, and maybe some backup plans if something changes. The second thing that you need is a go bag. Pack essentials in advance and keep it hidden. This might include an ID, a passport, maybe social security card, bank cards, cash, medication, important documents, insurance, leases, whatever. Maybe a burner phone or a charger, keys, clothes. Again, this is for extreme cases where your physical safety is at risk. Number 3 is secure your finances. If possible, start saving small amounts in a secret account or stash cash. Begin researching your community resources, maybe legal aid or maybe shelters that offer financial help. This is really important. You're going to need some financial help as you move on your own. Unfortunately, this one thing is what keeps so many women feeling stuck. So start stashing away. The fourth thing that you're going to need is to start collecting evidence. And again, this is for extreme cases, but start documenting the abuse. Photos, texts, emails, voicemails, screenshots, and keep backups of this outside of the home. Hopefully, this will never be needed, but if so, you have it. So, the fifth thing that you're going to need is to inform trusted people, right? You're going to have to start developing a support system of some sort. Tell one or two trusted people about your plan. Arrange maybe for check ins or code words for emergencies. These people or this person will begin to be your support system. Know your legal rights. And trust me, this is where the overwhelm took over for me. But understanding your local laws about custody and restraining orders and property can be a game changer for you. If you can find yourself maybe an advocate and they can help you with this, that would be really helpful. Many domestic violence organizations offer free legal support for you as well. So look into that. Now, having said all of this, I recognize that there are situations where planning any or all of this is just not possible, right? And that you may be out at the drop of a hat and left to just figure things out as you go. And if that is the case, that's okay. I encourage you to keep doing it because sometimes you have to just fly by the seat of your pants and figure things out as you go. In my situation, I was able to have a little bit of both. Yes, my exit was planned, ticket bought, date set, safe place to stay, money stashed. I confided in a therapist, and my no contact was set in place. And also, when I got to that safe place, I began to just fly by the seat of my pants. I had no idea. My bags were packed for a week, but I had no clue how long I would be staying. Ultimately, my story just kind of unfolded in the way that I never returned, which was not necessarily my plan. And so here's the thing I have to say about the logistics. It's good to plan, and it's good to have an open mind about what it's all going to look like when that plan crumbles and goes to shit. Things like who you thought you were going to be your support system, maybe where you're going to stay, going no contact, none of those things might go the way you thought. And that's okay. Keep going. Okay, part 2 has to do with what to expect from the abuser. Let's be honest, most abusers don't just give up control that easily, right? And many survivors are really caught off guard by what comes next. So, this is where I want to prepare you for what the abuser might do once they realize that maybe this time is different and that you are really gone. And this is not meant to scare you. And remember, I told you I wasn't going to sugarcoat this, but this is meant to keep you informed so that you stay one step ahead. If you know what to expect or anticipate it, it will help you to respond in strength instead of reacting in shock. So once you leave, you might experience hoovering, right? They might beg and cry and promise change, and suddenly they'll be sweet and remorseful or, a new person. And that's all code for they want control back, not healing, right? You may also have to deal with narcissistic rage. If they begin to realize that they can't lure you back in with their normal hoovering tactics, that, by the way, have worked for them in the past, right? They might turn to cruelty, right? And this is where the threats come in, and the stalking and the harassing, and maybe the legal intimidation. All this stuff is going to start to come into play. What I can tell you is to be prepared for things to escalate. Stalking, showing up unexpectedly, violating protective orders. Take all the necessary precautionary measures, cameras, police reports, journals, and everything else. Take seriously. My advice to you is to take every threat like it's going to happen. Document everything. I can't stress that enough. And then especially involve the law or an advocate. I remember for so long telling myself that things were just not that extreme and that I didn't need to involve others. but I did. And that was just the trauma bond talking. Okay, so now when those things don't work, then likely you're going to deal with smear campaigns, right? They're going to tell mutual friends or family that you're the abuser, you're unstable, you're crazy. And this is where you're going to need to prepare emotionally. You're going to have to trust the people who you know are on your side and who know your truth. This abuser is going to start to pull out all the lowest of low tactics. They might use maybe children or pets or shared responsibility to maintain contact with you and to manipulate you. If you can, having any kind of custody visitation plan written in through the legal channels is really best. Okay, so now I've gone through all these awful things that can be happening. And there is a possibility that you may experience none of those things. Maybe they're going to cut their losses, sink their teeth into their next supply. And in that case, you've got kind of a good news, bad news situation, right? The good news is you don't have to deal with all that bullshit, all those shenanigans of everything I just described. The bad news is you're going to have to sit and process all that that means about what you really meant to them and what your relationship truly was. Unfortunately, this is not a step that you're going to be able to skip, no matter what they throw at you, right? And that brings us to part 3 of all of this, and that is what to expect from yourself. And here's the part that no one talks about: what you might feel after you leave. It's safe to say that you're going to feel grief and sadness. Yes, even if they hurt you, you're going to grieve what you hoped the relationship would be. That's normal. It's human. And letting yourself go through each of those stages of grief is extremely necessary. You might also feel some guilt and shame. You might feel guilty for leaving, especially maybe if you have kids or if they're struggling. You may even feel ashamed that you didn't leave sooner. But let me be clear, that guilt does not belong to you. And the other thing that you're going to have is you're going to have trauma bonding withdrawals. You might miss them. You may crave their approval even after everything they've done. It's like an addiction. Be gentle with yourself. It's chemical, it's psychological, and it's deeply ingrained in you. You're probably going to be fearful for your future. You might ask questions like, where will I go? Who will believe me? What if I fail? You might feel lost, but let me tell you, you are not incapable. You're already doing one of the hardest parts, and that is breaking free. You're going to feel a sense of isolation that's going to be different than any other isolation you've had. You might even lose some mutual friends. Some family members might not understand. But know this, that real support is out there. Your new community might look different, but it will be made of people who see you and stand with you. Okay, so I know that this all sounds really bleak and dim, but just know that for each one of those feelings that you are likely going to deal with, I have an equally powerful counter strategy that's going to help you to kind of regain your power over each of those feelings. This is what I work with my one-on-one clients with daily. And for those of you who aren't maybe quite ready for that level of accountability, I have my She's Up program for half off right now, and I will link that below for you as another resource. Yes, distance, both physical distance and time from the time that you are away from them, is going to help you, but being able to rewire, retrain, and kind of create new neural pathways in your own brain is how you will not only heal, but it will ensure that your eyes are wide open so that you can spot these narcissistic, toxic, and abusive qualities in maybe your next partner. So leaving is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of it. You will rebuild your life, one choice, one breath, one boundary at a time. There will be hard days, but there will also be breakthrough days and moments of peace and quiet victories and daily epiphanies and laughter that you thought you might never get again. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep going. Let this video be a reminder that you're not crazy, you're not weak, and you're not alone. There are people who will believe you. They're people that will support you and fight right alongside with you. There's a whole life waiting for you on the other side of that fear. You deserve safety. You deserve healing. You deserve freedom. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're ready, drop a purple heart in the comments to let other survivors know that you're with them as well. You've got this, and I'm rooting for you.